Hi, I'm Chef Danny, and today we are making sushi. Our sticky rice is ready for our sushi. Now we cook the sticky rice according to the package directions. Any sushi rice will work perfectly fine for this, but you have to cook it ahead of time, put it on a pan, and you want to add a little bit of rice vinegar to it. This kind of mimics a fermented rice, and I'm going to tell you about the fermented rice in just a few minutes. But you want to sprinkle your rice with the rice vinegar and set that off to the side to cool. We're going to put our rice right over here to cool and let that sit for a few minutes while we get our bamboo mat ready. Now you can buy these little bamboo mats at most stores. They come two to a pack. They're fairly inexpensive and you can use them for a lot of different things. So I recommend you pick some up and just have them at home. You can have your own sushi party and roll all your own sushi. But we have to wrap this in some plastic wrap. So we're going to get a little plastic wrap and we're going to go all the way around the bamboo mat. So we're going to put the mat on top and we're going to roll this over. And I'm going to show you why this is so important in just a few minutes, because sticky rice is just that. It's really sticky. So if we try to roll and use the mat without the plastic wrap, it's going to make a mess everywhere. And we want to roll several rolls, so we want to be able to reuse the mat over and over. So we want to make sure that it's protected from the sticky rice. So close in the corners just like that. Now we have our mat completely wrapped in our plastic wrap. Okay? We're going to sit this over to the side for just a few minutes because we have to get everything ready that's going to go inside of our sushi. We're going to do a California roll. We have a little bit of what's called crab stick. This is actually a fish. It's made with pollock, but they sell it in these little sticks like this, and that's what we're going to use to make our California roll. So I'm going to take one of the sticks. They come in individual pieces just like this. And you just want to cut it into strips. So if you picture your sushi, you want to have everything kind of the same going through the center. So you just want little strips of everything. And one thing about these little crab sticks is that they actually will tear apart, just like this. So if you don't want to cut it, you can actually tear it into little pieces and you don't have to use the knife at all. This is a great job for kids to do if you want to get them in the kitchen to help you with the sushi. They can get this part ready and have it all stacked up for you. So once you get a few of these done, you want to stack that over to the side. What we're trying to do is get all of our parts ready. So when we go to roll our sushi, we can have everything stacked up and ready, everything kind of the same size, and we can build our sushi. Now, the next thing we're going to do for our California roll is an avocado. Now, the avocado, the way that you tell if it's ripe is you want to squeeze, and it just needs to give a little bit to your fingers, not be mushy, but give just a slight little bit. And on the end, if it still has the stem attached, you can pull that stem off. The color that is inside of that stem is the color of the inside of the avocado. So if it's a nice green color, that lets you know the avocado is ripe and ready to go. So the way we're going to cut our avocado is you're going to take your knife and you're going to go in and you'll feel the seed when you get the knife in there, and you just want to turn just like this. You don't want to cut the seed in half. You just want to cut the avocado, and then you want to twist just like that and open it up. It's a perfect avocado. And the seed itself, to get it out, you want to hold your knife and you want to hit the seed, twist, and take the seed out. Now these seeds you can plant. You can root the seed and they grow a nice avocado tree. It takes a while for it to grow an avocado, but it's nice to plant them anyway. So the best way to cut your avocado is right in the casing that it came in. So what you want to do is take your knife, hold the avocado in your hand, using that to protect your hand, the back part of the avocado. You want to cut through in strips just like this. You want them to be even pieces. Cut all the way through to the back part of the avocado, but not through the back part of the avocado. Just like that. Okay? You can see I've cut it into strips all the way along. And take a spoon, go around the edge, and all of this will come out already cut into your pieces. Okay, we'll do that one more time. I'll scoot this one right over there. You're going to take the avocado, you're going to cut it into slices. They need to be kind of even slices, but don't get hung up on that. If they're a little off, it's fine. It's all going to work out in the middle of the sushi. And take your spoon, go around the edge, and get all of that out. Okay, so we have our crab stick, we have our avocado, and the other part of a California roll is the cucumber. So we need to slice our cucumber. We're going to take and slice both ends off the cucumber. And we need to make this into a square if possible, because the cucumber is very slippery, it'll slide all over the place, and we're trying to get little matchstick pieces just like we have for everything else. So we want to hold it and cut the sides off. And once we get the side off, we can lay it down flat. And then we want to cut that into strips. And those strips we're going to cut into little matchsticks that are kind of similar to a julienne. But once again, don't get hung up on the exact cuts. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be good. Stack this right in the center. Cut that into strips. And then we're going to cut this in half. So now we've got strips of cucumber. We've got strips of our crab stick. We've got strips of the avocado, and we are ready to roll our sushi. We're going to get the nori out. Nori is seaweed, right? And all of sushi is rolled in seaweed. You can get sushi that is not rolled in seaweed. They'll do it in rice paper sometimes, but that's not traditional sushi. Traditional sushi is rolled in nori. So we're going to get our nori out, and we're going to get ready to roll our sushi. Okay. All right, we're going to grab our nori, and we're going to start setting up our California roll. Now the nori has two different sides. They're both kind of shiny, but one of them has a little bit more texture to it, and that's the side that we want facing up. Now you have to have a bowl of warm water beside you whenever you are making sushi, because the warm water is what your hands are going to go into to grab the sticky rice. Remember I said it was really sticky, so we got to have warm water on our hands. They always need to be wet. So the way that this works is you have your rice that's already cooled. You want to make sure it's cool because you don't want to burn your hands, right? You got your warm water. So you're going to go in the warm water, and you're going to mimic the action of like washing your hands. So rubbing together and doing just like this. No dripping water. You don't want it soaking wet. Then you're going to take your rice and you're going to grab a ball. And this can't be done with gloves. You have to do this with your bare hands. So you've got a ball of rice. You're going to take that and put it right on top of your nori, and you're going to start to spread it, and you're going to spread from the inside out. And every time your hands start to get sticky from the rice, you got to go back into the water again and wipe them off. The same process over and over until we cover the top of our nori with a thin, thin layer of rice. You don't want a big layer of rice because we're rolling sushi. And sushi is supposed to be bite size. It's not supposed to be really big. You shouldn't have to take 2 bites. So we're going to do it really small. And we're going to spread this out and leave an edge right around the edge. You want all the rice to go about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the nori. Keep dipping your hands, rubbing them together, grabbing some more rice. You will be able to tell when you need to get more water on your hands, because I promise you it's really sticky and your hands will just be covered in sticky rice. So you'll know when it's time to stick your hands back in the water. All right, once we get all of the rice on here, we're going to top this with a little bit of some toasted sesame seeds. All right, we have some toasted sesame seeds that we toasted just in a pan. You put them in the pan with no oil, no butter, no anything, just the sesame seeds. Toast them off slightly, and then you keep them in your bowl for whenever you need to use toasted sesame seeds, which is perfect on sushi. So we're just going to sprinkle the back side just like that. Okay. Now, what we need to do is flip the nori over. Because this is going to be our outside, we're going to build the sushi on the inside. So you're going to grab the edges that you left without the rice and carefully flip it over. So then the top's facing you. This is all, there's no rice on this side. This is all just the nori. Now we're going to build the sushi. And this is a California roll. So traditional California roll has cucumber. We're going to put that in here. And you want to line it up across the sushi, but you want to make sure that you start about 2 inches up from the edge because we're going to roll, and I'll show you why that plays a key role in just a second. So you got your cucumber. Remember our crab stick. We're going to put that in there as well. You can't really overfill the sushi because then it's going to kind of all squirt out on the ends, and we don't want it to do that. We want it to stay in the middle. So remember, these are bite-sized pieces, so don't get crazy with how much you put in there. You can always make 3 or 4 rolls and just have more sushi. All right, once we get this all lined up, then it's time to start rolling. So the reason we left this much over here is to start our first roll. All right, we're going to grab our edge over here and we're going to roll this over the top. Now, this is where the bamboo mat plays a key role. You're going to take your bamboo mat and you're going to roll it over the top, and you're going to take your hands and really press that together. You're pressing down and in a circular motion all at the same time because we're making a sushi roll. So you're pressing down and round, and when you pull this off, you'll see it started the roll, okay? Next step, roll it again. Go over, use your mat again, squeeze, pull it out. That's your second one. Okay, we got one more. We got to get that end rolled in there. Just like that. Roll the mat over the top and use the mat to really seal that all together, keeping all your ingredients inside the sushi, just like that. All right, and when we take this off, now you have your sushi roll, your California roll, ready to cut. But before we cut that, we're going to move on to making our Philadelphia. We made our sushi rolls, and now we're going to make a sauce to go with it. So we're going to do a spicy soy sauce, and we're going to make it spicy with some of the chili sauce. It's a chili and garlic sauce, and it's really delicious, but it only takes a little bitty bit in there, or it'll be a little bit too delicious. So we're going to take some of our soy sauce, and you can measure. It's going to be probably about 2 tablespoons of the soy. And we're going to have a little bit of ginger in there. So we're going to take the ginger root. The ginger root grows under the ground. It makes a great flowering plant to have in your garden, but the root itself is delicious in all Asian food. So what we're going to do is cut it up, cut the outside edge off. That's kind of like a bark. You don't want that. We're going to just cut it into little thin pieces, and then we're going to go back and cut across those little thin pieces to make them a little bit smaller, just like that. So this sauce has ginger, it has garlic, it has the soy, and it has a little bit of that spice to it. So we're going to take our garlic, whole clove of garlic. We just need 1 little piece. Hold the garlic on your board, your knife on the top of it, hit it like you mean it, and it peels the garlic. Just like that. Cut the end off where it's rough. Now this is kind of a big clove for our little bit of sauce here, so we're going to probably do about half of it. We're going to slice the garlic, and just like we did the ginger, we're going to go back and cut the other side into little bitty pieces. This is going to flavor our soy sauce and give it a great flavor for our sushi. Put that in there. All right. The last thing we're going to put in there is our spicy sauce. Now this is a spicy chili sauce. It has a lot of garlic in it itself. So we don't need to put a lot of this in there. We've already got garlic, we've got ginger, we've got our nice soy sauce. So we're going to put about half of a teaspoon in our bowl and just mix that up just like that. So what we've done, we've taken basic soy sauce and we've dressed it up a little, gave it a few more flavors, made it a little fancy, maybe impress your guests just a little bit. It's not just the regular out-of-the-bottle soy sauce. So we're going to set that off to the side, and we're going to get ready to cut our sushi. All right, we're going to start cutting our rolls, And to cut your rolls, it's really important that you once again have that warm water because your knife needs to be a little bit warm. The blade will stick to all the rice that's stuck to your hands, so we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure the blade is wet with warm water, and we're going to cut our sushi. Now to cut the sushi, you go straight through the center, just like this, and you want to saw. You don't want to push because you'll smash the sushi. So you're going to saw it, you're going to turn it, wet the knife again, and then you're going to slice it into your bite-sized pieces, always sawing, never smashing, just like that. All right, our next roll that we're going to slice is going to be our California roll. That was the first roll that we made. That's our biggest one also, and it has the rice on the outside, so it's really important that you have your knife wet. Make sure that it's not going to stick to all that rice. So cut straight through the center, and you'll see the inside with all of the fillings that we put in there, the avocado, the crab. You want the pieces to kind of be the same size, so it helps if you line up the sushi beside each other, and you can do both of them at the same time, always sawing, never smashing. Make sure that you cut straight through, easy. If you smash, everything's going to come out the end, and you'll ruin all the work that you just did. We'll wet the knife one more time, and we'll cut right at the end. Now the end pieces are fun to just stand up, but the rest of them you want to be in perfect rounds, just like that. All right, we'll scoot this off to the side. We got one more roll. We got our Philadelphia roll. So once again, we're going to wet the knife, cut right down the center, wet the knife. We're going to cut these into 4, save the end pieces, and you can see the great salmon, the great avocado, the Philadelphia cheese. That's what you want in there, just like that. All right, let's get our plate and get ready to plate everything, because remember I told you you could do your own sushi party at home. You can impress all your guests with your ability to make fresh sushi and at a fraction of the cost of going to buy the sushi. So what you want to do is get a long plate just like this, and you want to line up the sushi along the long plate because you want to show off what's on the inside. I'm plating the last of our California roll on our plate. You want to make sure that your sushi is showing. You're showing the cut part so you can see all your hard work that you did. Some of it you want to sit in a different direction so you have different texture. So as we're putting this on here, you want to make sure that it's like a piece of art, because that's what sushi is. Now the history of sushi is completely different from art though. The history of sushi was actually a way of keeping food from going bad. So they learned that by keeping fish in fermented rice, they could keep their fish good for longer. So they would make layers of fermented rice and layers of their fish. They would top that with something heavy like a brick and then some seaweed, keep it all pressed down, and it would keep their fish good. So at some point along the way, somebody decided they wanted to try to eat the rice as well as the fish because it tasted good too, and that's where sushi was born. So it was a way of keeping food, but it turned out to be a beautiful work of art. So that's our sushi, and that's our lesson for today.